Who's the host? You?
The
Sunday.
Sir, the host is Dr. Adeyinka Azan, but
right.
Mr. Biola Salami is the moderator of the program.
Okay.
Presently, is on transit. He's moving from one part of the town to the other, and he will join us shortly. But not to worry, we're going to start right away. Then when he comes, he will take over. I will just kickstart the meeting.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. President.
Good afternoon, Chairman. How are you?
Very well, thank you, sir.
I like your background, the backdrop.
We have our guest of honor and the speaker on the line already. Our guest of honor is Mr. Keswani, and the speaker
Keswani,
is
yeah. Yes, I noticed. Very good.
And the speaker
where is Dele?
Yeah.
Where is the DG?
I'm here, sir.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon,
that's the
Madam.
speaker responding to you, sir.
Oh, that's good. Nice to see you, Madam. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Is the DG on? Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. Is the DG there?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm here, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. Have you noted the protocol we talked about?
Yeah, it's been done, sir.
Thank you very much.
DG, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Chairman. Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. Please, once again, I'd like to inform the panelists and, of course, the participants that as we take the national anthem at the start of this program, we're going to be taking the second stanza of the national anthem. And that stanza will be displayed for all to see. Then at the close of the program, we'll take the first stanza. Okay, thank you so very much. So
I think
right now
it is regarded as a prayer. Please, we just read it.
Yes,
we'll read it as a prayer. Thank you.
Okay, we'll read it. We'll not sing the tune. We'll not do the tune. Okay. Okay. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to this special edition of the Young Directors Forum Networking and Knowledge Sharing Session. This is the very first session that we are having this year. And it is my pleasure on behalf of IOD Nigeria to welcome everybody on board. At this point, we're going to start with the national anthem, particularly the second stanza, which we are going to speak and do as prayer, because it's actually prayer. Okay. Now, the IT can give us the second stanza of the national anthem. Lord,
ladies and gentlemen, please, the secretariat, please cue the second stanza on the screen, and we'll all read it. It is not meant to be sung. We will all read it. So just post it, and we'll read it as a prayer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. IT, post the second stanza again.
Don't play it. Just put it there for people to read. Don't play the song. That's what the president meant.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will please all read the second stanza of our national anthem as the national prayer before we start the program. Thank you. O God of creation,
O God of creation,
direct
direct
our noble
cause, guide our
guide
leaders,
us right,
Help our youth the truth to know,
in
in
love
love and honesty to grow, and living just and true. Great lofty heights attain,
to build a nation
where peace and justice shall reign. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please go on with the program now.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, once again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's to welcome you to this special program. IOD Nigeria, that is aimed at actually growing the young directors of our times, you know, onto higher heights, regardless of their discipline. And this afternoon, on the panel, I'd like to introduce to us those who are on the panel of this program. First and foremost, I'd like to start with the president and chairman of the Governing Council of IOD Nigeria, in the person of Chief Chris. And also, I'd like to recognize the presence especially of the special guest of honor for today's event, in the person of Mr. Aresh Keswani. We're going to be, sir, you are most welcome on this program. We are pleased to have you this afternoon.
Yeah.
Then, of course, our guest speaker for today is no other one than Mrs. Ebele Obi, who is joining us from the UK. She's the MD CEO of Evo Supermarket, based in the UK. Ma, you are most welcome to this program. And on the panel today, we have the DG CEO of IOD Nigeria, in the person of Mr. Dele Alimi. Sir, it's our pleasure to welcome you.
Very much.
Then, of course, the host of this program is the chairman of the steering committee of Young Directors Forum, in the person of Sir, you are most welcome to this program. My humble self is Sunday Adenipekun. I am standing in for the moderator, who will shortly take over any moment from now. Our moderator today is Mr. Abiola Salami, the charm, whom we all know quite well. He will soon be here. So on behalf of the panelists and the Institute, I'd like to welcome all participants this afternoon to this special program. Please feel relaxed and pay all attention as we proceed. And I can assure you that you are going to enjoy every moment of it. It's going to be insightful. It's going to be worthwhile. And on this note, I'd like to invite the president, I'd like to invite the chairman of the steering committee of the Young Directors Forum in the person of Dr. Adeyinka Hassan to deliver a short welcome remarks. Sir, you are welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
We
good.
can hear you.
So the President and Chairman of the Governing Council of the Institute of Directors, Nigeria, First and Second Vice President, past Presidents, members of the Governing Council here present, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the first in its series of Young Directors Forum networking and knowledge sharing session. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to first express my profound appreciation on behalf of the Young Directors Forum Steering Committee of the Governing Council to the Governing Council for their support, for offering us the opportunity of IOD platform to express ourselves in running an inclusive governance for the Institute. When we think about the passion that our immediate past president and the current president have put into the project, which is geared towards sustainable development of the ethos of good governance for business in Nigeria, we are encouraged as the drivers of the program not to relent in our efforts in ensuring the actualization of their dreams of leaving a good legacy for the young generation of directors in Nigeria. The Young Directors Forum of the Institute is a network of young, talented, and upcoming board leaders who serve as executives or non-executive directors in small and big firms across sectors of the Nigerian economy. They are keen knowledge seekers interested in taking advantage of the platform provided by the Institute to develop capacity in corporate governance and associated skills. The event of today is therefore one of the many advantages the platform offers. The event will hold once in a quarter and shall be addressing issues of common interest to young directors in Nigeria, as well as offering a platform for building strong business networks and knowledge exchange. The lineup themes for networking and knowledge sharing session for this year are: 1, retailing in challenging times; 2, funding micro, small, and medium businesses; 3, fashion retailing; and 4, for the fourth quarter, professional services offer as a business enterprise. We shall also be introducing excursions and fairs. We shall also be introducing exhibitions and fairs when the time is appropriate. The theme for today's event is retailing in challenging times. This theme has been carefully chosen to help provide solutions to the current challenges faced by the operators of retail businesses, from lockdowns to lockouts, curfews, disruption in businesses, continuity, supply chain, decline in purchasing power, and alternative shopping channels, amongst others. We have two eminent guests who have gone through the thick and thin of retailing and are well positioned to take us through the essential of starting up and successfully running a retailing outlet, especially in challenging times like the era of COVID-19 pandemic. We have with us Mr. Aresh Keswani, the Chief Executive Officer of Atik Group. Atik Group is the holding company of Spar chain of supermarkets in Nigeria. Mr. Keswani is joining us today as our special guest of honor. A round of applause for Mr. Keswani, please. Also with us is Mrs. Ebele Obi. She is the brain behind Evo Supermarket Limited in the United Kingdom. Avon Supermarket is a fast-growing retailing outlet renowned for the supply of African consumable products in London. For participants from Nigeria, please watch out for the brand anytime you are in the UK. Mrs. Obi is here today as our guest speaker. Both of them are well equipped to respond to all our questions relating to managing retail businesses. I trust that this will be a very engaging and impactful session. I implore us to listen to them and learn. Thank you all, and God bless you all. Mr. Adenipekun, I hope you can hear us.
Okay, I'm so sorry I was muted. Thank you, Dr. Hassan, for that very brief, punchy, welcome remark. Thank you, we really appreciate that. At this junction, I just want to, I have the privilege of inviting the president and the chairman of the Governing Council of IOD Nigeria, in the person of Chief Chris Okunowo, to give us an opening remark. You are welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is a welcome address at the Network and Knowledge Sharing Session of the Young Directors Forum of the Institute of Directors, Nigeria. Members of the Governing Council and Executive Committee of the IOD Nigeria, I'd like to especially welcome the first Vice President, Dr. Ije Dizema, FIOD, and the second Vice President, Malam Tijani Borodo, FIOD, and indeed all other office bearers, past presidents, as well as our special guests of honor today, our distinguished guest speaker, chairman and members of the steering committee of the Young Directors Forum, fellows and members of the Institute, members of our Young Directors Forum, our valued guests, associates and sponsors, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Governing Council and the chairman and members of the Young Directors Forum Steering Committee, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the maiden edition of our Network and Knowledge Session, NKSS, of the Young Directors Forum of the Institute of Directors, Nigeria, with the theme, Retailing in Challenging Times. I also wish to welcome all other eminent personalities and associates and friends of the members of our Young Directors Forum present at the ceremony. I appreciate you all for being part of this event. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Young Directors Forum, YDF, was created by the Institute of Directors Nigeria to serve as a network of young, talented, and upcoming board leaders. It is a platform for young leaders who are interested in taking advantage of the IOD Nigeria's platform to be groomed to become versatile, competent, and effective directors through well thought out capacity development initiatives and mentoring programs. This forum is IOD Nigeria's way of giving back to the society. That is to nurture especially the future generation of major players in the business community who are in the need of requisite knowledge and hands-on practical exposure to the issues of governance and leadership. By belonging to this elite group of YDF, these directors will get knowledge, skills, and capacity in corporate governance practices, as well as access to free mentorship services, while creating strong peer networks that will add value to the cost of discharging their roles and responsibilities as directors. To do justice to this theme of this event, which is retailing in challenging times, we have in our midst two distinguished personalities, Mr. Harish Keswani, Chief Executive Officer, RT Group, who is a special guest of honor, and Mrs. Ebele Obi, Chief Executive Officer, Evo Supermart Limited, the guest speaker. I welcome and I thank both of you for accepting our invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic brought with it the social distancing rules, which brought the world almost to its knees as many countries, including Nigeria, came under quarantine orders. With the development, consumers around the world started to shun human contact. Business people in the retail sector recognized that the global response to the novel COVID-19 virus will have a significant impact on their businesses and that the situation is changing daily, giving them little time to respond. This is an indication that there is a huge challenge being faced by retailing businesses in these uncertain times. This explains the reason we have invited the guest speaker to share her views and thoughts on the matter for the benefit of all of us and our businesses. IOD Nigeria was established about 37 years ago by a group of very dedicated and highly responsible citizens who considered that for our businesses to thrive and for the Nigerian economy to grow and prosper, Nigerian companies must imbibe the culture of good corporate governance, as is known and practiced in developed countries or economies. Like many other professional and membership organizations around the country, IOD Nigeria is operating in a rapidly evolving and increasingly complex and challenging business environment. Over the past few years, the world has witnessed massive shifts in the global economy, a growing transition toward knowledge and service-based industry sector amid increasingly economic and workforce competitions with natural disasters, thereby placing new challenges and expectations on individuals, businesses, and nations. As a result, the Governing Council of our Institute has in the last few years worked to reposition the Institute to address emerging challenges and engender greater impact in the fulfillment of its vision and mission. As part of our efforts towards realizing this objective, the Governing Council and Executive Committee recently concluded a grueling 3-day retreat to review and approve a new vision, mission, and core values as part of a detailed and well thought out 5-year strategic plan for the Institute. In order to position its members and staff to champion issues of ethics, the Institute launched its Code of Ethics in August of 2020. The code is an important tool to guide members and staff of the Institute on matters of ethics and professionalism. I therefore urge all our members to continue to uphold good corporate governance principles and be guided by the ethics code of the Institute at all levels in their workplaces and in their business affairs. I am glad to also inform us that the Institute has a well-established center for corporate governance in which key Nigerian regulators, the SEC, Security and Exchange Commission, CAC, Pricewaterhouse, as well as Nigerian Stock Exchange are partners. As a result of the confidence reposed in the Institute as a frontline professional body, the federal government of Nigeria has listed the Institute as one of the professional organizations whose members are registrable with the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria. It's also important to note that despite the COVID-19 challenges, IOD Nigeria has continued to demonstrate greater concern and commitment to work with all stakeholders in order to engender a business-friendly environment for a robust economic growth. More particularly, we have continued to canvass for good corporate governance of all private and public sector organizations in Nigeria, and will continue to partner with all business and thought leaders from both the public and private sectors to put forward innovative ideas for our collective benefits. I charge you all, including members of our Young Directors Forum, to appreciate the privilege of your status in the Institute and remain steadfast and focused in your support of IOD Nigeria for its positive growth and development. Our Institute will continue to demonstrate greater concern for our young directors and commitment to the governance of all Nigeria's private and public sector organizations, and welcome any idea or ideas and input by all members towards the achievement of the Institute dreams. Finally, I wish to express my special gratitude to all our past presidents and office bearers of our Institute, the members of the Governing Council and Executive Committee for their untiring efforts and commitments to our Institute. I wish to thank very especially the chairman of this forum, Dr. Adeyinka Hassan, FIOD, and members of the Young Directors Forum, a steering committee, as well as the management staff of the Secretariat for organizing this landmark event. Before I end, may I just warn that the coronavirus pandemic is still very much here with us. Please keep safe and stay healthy. Thank you for all your attention, and I wish you a very successful and memorable event. Good morning, good afternoon.
Thank you so very much, sir, for that impactful address. As the president said, please let us ensure that we are still keeping safe. Let's not be off guard as far as this pandemic is concerned. On that note, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome specially the special guest of honor for today's event, in the person of Mr. Aresh Keswani. You must have been hearing about him before, but now we are privileged to see him and to have him have discussion with us. Mr. Keswani is an India-based Nigerian, moved to Lagos in the early 80s. So as we speak, he has grossed about 40 years in Nigeria. Is the group chief executive of ATSI Group of Companies. Of course, the arrowhead that we all know is SPAR, okay? Is a leading name in the retail space in Nigeria. He is somebody that has this penchant, you know, for doing new things. And I believe that is the kind of spirit that, you know, young entrepreneurs and directors should have. Having from the retail space, he has, you know, gone into other, you know, subsectors in his journey in Nigeria. The group is now into the agricultural space, the commercial real estate space, and of course, even in furniture. They are all over Nigeria. It will be interesting to know how the journey has been in the last about 40 years. And what are the lessons that we can pick today from the experience, you know, that this, you know, very, very determined and achieving personality has achieved in the industry. He's going to tell us a little bit more about the group. Well, at this point, I'd like to welcome Mr. Keswani to address us as the special guest of honor. Sir, you are most welcome.
Thank you very much, and
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate this opportunity to be able to speak to the next generation, because I understand we are addressing the young directors. And Dr. Adeyinka called me up personally, and he said, would you want to do this? And what motivated me was prima facie that we are here going to invest in growing leaders and sharing our wisdom. The next generation is very, very important. The very idea of using our national anthem as a prayer, where we talked about leaders and the youth, I think that clearly sends a message that if we are true leaders, then we need to build our youth. We need to be legacy minded, and we must share our wisdom. And succession planning, while we can and we are able, is the key for our nation to move forward. And thank you very much. I don't think in 15 minutes I'll be able to share my 42 years of experience in Nigeria. But however, let's see what we can get quickly on a fast track. So let me share my presentation on the subject matter which was asked by IOD, that's retailing in the challenging times. So could you please confirm whether you can see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
You can. All right. So well, the world is different in 2020, and we must unfortunately say it's the same in 2021. The focus is now back to the fundamentals with a touch of innovation. So what is this innovation we keep talking about? Maintaining your customer base, data-driven decision-making, establishing corporate governance, inspiring and retaining employees, the digital disruption and communication. Now, I'm more than happy to explain this in the next few pages. Maintaining customers. Customer needs have evolved, as you rightly said. The pandemic has made the customers think differently. The customer behavior totally in 2020 was quite different from what we used to, as retailers, experience with so many walk-ins. And the need to use the data to continuously understand their change in demand and requirement is now a necessity. Customers are less loyal. So therefore, how do we use data to increase retention and basket values? This is the big question every retailer globally is asking. There is a strong correlation between knowing your customer base and having data generation as a retailer to maximize your offerings. So the data-driven state-of-art techniques can uncover and address current retail challenges. So I would like to pause here for a minute. In 2020, the whole globe has started focusing on data. Data is becoming such an important tool for making the right decisions to understand the customer's behavior, the new behavior, the transformation. And this has helped many businesses to quickly change. So what is the pressures we have in retail? One of the biggest pressures we have, the challenges, is the high pressure on return on investments. Now, to most of you who may not know this, there's a big confusion in the economic space. They believe retail is buying and selling. And I would like to correct that. Retail may look like buying and selling, but the science behind it and the kind of investments one needs to make to run a proper retail setup is a lot more. And it could be, it's a amalgamation of manufacturing and trading. So today I would say retail is highly investment intensive business. The second point, which are the challenges, are the price and promotional misalignments. Because we don't use data, we are not able to take advantage of the amount of information available in understanding what is the customer's buying powers and what are the products they would appreciate in promotions, and not just offer them what we want to sell. Here it is very important for a good retailer is stop thinking what he or she wants to do or what job she wants to get done or he wants to get done. Instead, move the paradigm shift to understanding what is your customer trying to get a job done. Once we are clear about what the customer is trying to get done, you should be able to drive your business with more efficiency. And that should in turn be able to give you an answer to the next problem which we face, the low inventory turn, resulting in losses of freshness and shrinkages and out of stocks of the best sellers. So how do you plan a CATMAN, a category management? How we tend to buy what we think we like, but truly speaking, who is guiding us on what the consumer wants? So managing your inventory, turning your stock around efficiently is very critical to have a successful retail business. The next point typically is to do with your shopping experience. Poor store experience and high operational costs due to planning and operating inefficiencies. Lots of people make mistakes here. Either your stores have heavily huge investments, creating unnecessary overheads and trying to survive in that space of unnecessary costs. Or how do you balance with your environment, with your demographics, that what kind of store is required here, and your offering is based on what your consumer wants. I would akin this and liken it to a typical airline. Everyone knows who flies that we have first class, business class, and economy. Let's not invest in a business class store and expect to sell at economic prices. It will not work. It will not give you. So what is the experience the consumer wants? If the consumer wants an economy experience, then run a low budget airline and no frills. And it's a price-based economy. You focus on that. There could be another store which they want first class ambiance. They're willing to pay you a price. It's very important for a retailer to be able to judge that and decide what kind of a store experiences you want to offer. Now, the last one is it's a new major, a disruption, which is a difficulty to manage and create synergies between online and offline challenges. This is a discussion going on globally. Is the bricks and mortar business going to die? Is this the online business going to kill the bricks and mortars? Well, it's no secret that online has taken a major chunk of the bricks and mortar business globally. But in countries like Nigeria, we are still very, very far behind. And that is because our consumer still is desirous of experiencing the product they want to buy. They are very, very clear that in a society where trust is a major problem, that the customers do not want to trust the online offerings, not all of them. So therefore, I believe in the next, at least for the next 5 years, until the whole system of trust is developed in Nigeria with a better logistics support, the online business, especially in the grocery space, is far-fetched. And why do I keep using the word trust? One of the most important rules globally when it comes to selling of food is it has a no return policy. Once you buy food, you cannot return it because it can get adulterated. Mischief makers can tamper with it. So no retailer would take in the food unless there's a genuine complaint that it is rotten or it's bad, then an exchange would happen. But no product can ever be taken and resold in its original form. That's the simple principle of grocery business. So therefore, So we at our group are focusing on the two most important. Post-pandemic, we have changed our complete thinking process and have invested in these two most important assets: human resources and technology. Now, in Nigeria, we would find this very strange that we pay little or no heed to our human resources. We expect that human resources comes and does their work, and we tell them what to do. No, but actually retail is by the people, for the people. And who are these people we talk about? These are our staff. Our staff in retail should never ever be treated like liabilities. They are our asset. So they can only be an asset once you have trained them and instilled the need of first-class customer service given the customer's volatility. How do you reskill the workforce for the digital environment? How do you train your workforce to understand data? How can you start sharing information to them more than ever before? How do you improve their social and emotional skills? Retail is a social business. Retail is a service sector. And no social and service sector can ever survive without emotional skills. It's very, very difficult to get the human resources, the staff, to understand the importance of those emotional skills. And we as a company keep investing a lot of resources and time in this particular area of improving the emotional skills. Enrolling the employees in online courses for digital marketing, web development, customer service management is also become very, very important. How is technology helping transform the business model to be more tech-enabled and future-proof? Online mediums for communication and service provisions, creating a robust data analysis and business intelligence system, objective monitoring and reporting systems for operational corporate governance. the case study and operating an essential service. Now, this is a very important term, essential service. In Canada and in the United States and possibly in the UK, supermarkets were requested to be open during pandemic. So there were basically the healthcare workers were requested to be available. Pharmacies were a high priority. And the only other sector which was given that ranking was supermarkets. The government not only recognized that this is an essential service, they also, when the vaccinations were given, they ensured that the retail workers would be in that same category, and they were all asked to be vaccinated among the first few batches. The biggest challenge we have in Nigeria is the government till date has never recognized that retail is an essential service. We at retail know and understand that organized retail is the actual last mile to the manufacturing vision of the government. We are the last mile of the agricultural vision. So my question always has come, why do we have to first develop manufacturing and agriculture and bring in the productivity, and then while we are struggling to reach the consumers? Why can't all the three sectors together sit down and come up with a plan that let's each one of us go do our own roles and build our own sectors, build the human resources, create the jobs, make the investments, and be the pipeline to the consumer? The whole idea about the essential service is still not getting across, because the 360-degree approach is unfortunately not getting any kind of attention. We are very good at our visions. Like I said, when I came here in 1980, precisely in 79, well, what did I experience in the time I came? I saw the best airport probably in the whole of Africa, our Muratala Mohammed Airport. We had the youngest and the largest airline fleet, Nigeria Airways, with jumbo jets and Airbuses. We had the largest and the youngest shipping line fleet under the name of NNSL. We were the largest in modern retailing in the late 70s with Leventis, Kingsway, UTCs, Maloney's all put together. We were bigger than South Africa. We probably had world-class roads in our major cities. Where are we today? What happened? Where did we go wrong? We probably have the worst airport. We don't have an airline. We don't have a shipping line. Our retail has collapsed. Our roads are another story. It takes us 3 days to reach from here to possibly to get to Port Harcourt by road. So our problem is in retail that there is a need for IOD and NECA, NASIMA, MAN, all of us to put our heads together and understand the whole complete chain of supply to the consumer. We need to shift our focus from what we are trying to get done to a simple and only one focus. What is the consumer trying to get done? What job is consumer trying to get done? Because no matter what, every sector, whether it's manufacturing, retail, or service sector, whether it's hospitality, airline, is all here to serve the same common consumer. So this is where I have basically the challenge which I am not able to find an answer. So coming back to how we managed it is, I hope I will address that during the Q&A. So we had, because of the problems of pandemic, and that's now what I'm going to address. What was it that most important to our business? Was to maintain social distancing, make sure that we manage the risk of COVID spreading within our businesses, between our staff and the visitors. So we were forced to shut down some of our stores based on our data. Our data said these are businesses which we need not keep them open. For example, our store in MM2. The airport is closed. We don't need to keep the store open, shut it down, ask the staff to stay at home. The second thing, the stores which we kept open, we had to manage and shrink down our staff who would report to work in a rotation based, so that we did not have too many staff in our stores, because again, for the same reason, social distancing. We had to make sure that the safety of the staff and customers is always of the highest priority. Making sure that we trained and appointed COVID marshals. And these COVID marshals were so critical to our business that their job was only to see that everyone wore a mask, their hands were sanitized, that the staff maintained hygiene, the customers continued to wear their mask while they're shopping. It wasn't an easy job. It wasn't an easy job. So what is the conclusion that it takes to compete today? Pandemic has been a blessing in disguise. Staying at home and trying to not get distracted by those WhatsApp messages which portrayed that men were washing dishes and we were all trying home chores. We started to focus more on how adaptable can we be and how do we turn this into an opportunity. So the ability to make quick decisions and having a corporate governance structure to facilitate this was the most important decision we took. The second decision we took was, how do we make data to drive the business? Since we are not going to the office, since we were not going to the stores as many frequently like before, how do we now get that same information on our desktops, on our laptops, on our hand phones, which will give us the direction on how and what we need to do the next steps. The frequent operational risk assessments and swift implementation of business strategy is essential, and technology will have to be implementing for monitoring and governance. Need to adapt to customers and workforce alike by leveraging online communication tools. So WhatsApp became a very important tool on communication by setting up groups between the collaborative groups, what we call collaborative groups. How do we create the supply chain to collaborate with operations? How does operation collaborate with marketing? How does logistics collaborate with the supply chain? And so on and so on. These groups played a very important role. Digital mediums for customers engagement and service provisions. We spent a lot of less money in marketing last year, and it's very strange that we got into the rut of spending millions and billions of nairas on marketing because it became fashionable to spend that kind of fancy monies. And we suddenly realized that last year we didn't have to spend that money, but a little bit of it on digital. And the returns we got on that investment was phenomenal. Understanding how to do this, how to use your digital mediums to reach to the customers and engage with them is very, very critical. And finally, but not the least, the human capital development. The human capital development has become so important to drive retail business. And without your team taking up ownership in understanding what the customer is trying to get done, there cannot be an emotional connect. And without this emotional connect, you cannot survive in the retail space today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Keswani. Very, very insightful delivery. Thank you very, very much, sir. I'd like to just inform our participants that if you have any question, please put it in the Q&A box, and we will respond to it at the appropriate time. We answer all your questions, and we're going to give enough time for question and answer. I can assure you that. He has spoken a lot, but I will not try to go over that again. But it suffices to say that as we speak, the need for data-driven decision-making cannot be overemphasized. And he has spoken so much about that. They need to digitalize the medium of customer engagement in times like this. But for us in Nigeria, yes, we're going to be doing that simultaneously with even the brick and mortar, because we see there is that question of trust that still have a question mark. We want to engage with the products. We want to interact with the product before we are sure whether we want to buy it or not, and all that. We're going to live with that for some time. But I can assure you that the need to go to the digital mediums cannot be overemphasized. And the young directors of this age, they are really catching up in that space. Now, the pandemic, he said, there is a blessing in disguise in terms of adaptability, quick decision-making, and even putting necessary corporate governance structure in place without moving from one spot to the other. So please, this is a note I want us to pen down as young directors. The need for you to have the necessary corporate governance structure in place. That will give your business serious mileage, and the sustainability of the business can almost be guaranteed if you have the necessary structure in place. I'm sure with time, we talk more into that. And finally, let me mention the need for operational risk assessment from time to time. This is an issue that we should not let it slip at any point in time, because retail is all about operation. Then he mentioned the need to treat the human resources as a very, very great asset, and as well technology. So these are key points that I believe we can ruminate over as we begin to go to our guest speaker for the day. I want to believe that with the thought that he has dropped behind, the stakeholders in Nigeria will want to do something about the supply chain. It's not like emphasizing a development of one aspect and leaving the other. Like manufacturing, you focus on manufacturing, and you are leaving retail to literally suffer. Of course, we know that in practice, retail is an essential service. And the earlier all the stakeholders come together and treat it as such, the better for all of us in the country and the better for the economy. Thank you once again, Mr. Keswani, for those very, very instructive thoughts that you have dropped for us today. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, without much ado, we are going to go straight to our guest speaker for today. Well, the good thing about today's event is that we are having our guest speaker is based in another client, and he might be able to share some thoughts with us. He will be able to share some thoughts with us with regards to what happened in Europe, and particularly in the UK, when we talk about retailing. Would she agree that over there, the government is balancing the acts, in the supply chain and stuff like that? What are the challenges that are peculiar to that environment? What can we learn from that environment? She's going to be opening up to us what has been an experience, for years, in that space. I am talking about Mrs. Ebele Obi, who is going to be taking us on as the guest speaker for today. As we all know, I mentioned earlier that she is the Chief Executive Officer of Evo Supermarket, based in the UK, and of course is one of the biggest retail outlets as we speak, in that country. When you hear Evo, the acronym, what forms that acronym is Ebele Vivian Obi. That is where Evo is coming from. So when you are looking for that brand, you have a full insight of what it means. She currently sits on the boards of Eternal Oil, Techno Oil Limited, Evolicious Limited, and so many other companies. She's also a business coach and a public speaker. Mrs. Ebele is the founder of Coach V Network, and of course, the founder of Ndozi Alaigbo Initiative, an NGO on which she serves as a member of the board of trustees. She holds a post degree in microbiology, a second in public administration here at Unilag. Then, of course, a master's in management with merit at the Robert Gordon University, Aberdeen, UK, in addition to many other professional certifications. So we are highly privileged to have Mrs. Ebele Obi, have conversation with us today on this subject, retailing, in challenging times. I'd like to welcome you, madam. You are most welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sunday. Can everyone hear me?
We can hear you.
Can hear you.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to, all protocol observed, I would like to thank IOD for this grand opportunity. It's my big pleasure. And I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Keswani because he's made my work very easy. A lot of things he's talked about already, so I'm just going to throw them aside. Okay. But what I want to say to everyone present is that, like I told Mr. Sunday and Dimabong, that I am here to learn. I am more of a coach and a speaker than a retailer. And if I don't learn anything today, I'm going to quit from IOD. I'm just joking. Anyway, so while Imabong shares the slide, I'm not going to be going through the slides as is. You can take your time to look at them later. I'm just going to generally share what I think is most important. If you notice, I started with an icebreaker because when I speak in the rooms and in the hotels, I like to break the ice, but I think the day is fast spent, so leave it. But one thing I want us to take out of the icebreaker is that when I wanted all of us to look around and see one thing we can sell, because that's it about looking for opportunity. You will agree with me that there are opportunities everywhere. Opportunities abound and customers abound. There's one of my classmates, Boma, I love the way she goes about marketing. She tells you that every individual she sees is a customer. And that's the way to get about it when you're in business and when you're in retail, which is, business. So I'll just quickly go on to, I was asking what is retailing and who is a retailer. Is a retailer an entrepreneur? But I don't think we need to do all of that. But what I want to say is that just like every entrepreneur, as a retailer, you need to have the attributes that will keep you going. You need the courage. It's very important. I wrote some of these in my book that is upcoming. Just Go Further, Become a Total Entrepreneur. When it's launched, I'll sure get some over to IOD for people to see. And I think it's important that when some of these attributes, you seem to be lacking them, you can build them up. You can learn to, have them on, because we're not all created the same, but we can always adapt.
Okay, she's back. All right. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We lost you for a while, but
okay, so sorry.
That's the most important.
Sorry, it's the life of a mother. Just shortly before the program started, I realized that I didn't know where my kids kept my laptop, and I have to do this on the phone. So I'm just so sorry, everyone. And a call cut us out. Anyway, so I was saying that there are attributes that, keep entrepreneurs going. I believe I'm speaking to the young people who are upcoming and maybe some who have, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Please pardon me if you've gone way beyond what I'm saying, but for the benefit of those who are coming up, we should always be able to share and allow others to also learn, just as I've learned a lot from Mr. Keswani today. And so we, as retailers, you need to be ingenuous. You need to bring in ingenuity, just like Mr. Keswani said. Innovation is very key, very, very key, because our world is fast moving. Things are fast changing. You need to be IT driven. You need to, I'm one of those lagging behind, but trust me, when you're lacking something, it's important you get someone on your team who can, step up the team to the level where it should be. For instance, the slides that you see has nothing to do with me because I don't know anything IT, but I've got people on my team. I've got my nephew, I've got my staff, I've got some of my Indian boys who are super hardworking. You just need to have people who will complement you when you're doing your business. It's very important. And then I'll just go straight away to talk about establishing. And so a lot of times I hear young people say, oh, I don't want to work. I want to work for myself. It's a lot easier. And I just laugh because it's the most difficult thing to do, to work for yourself. I remember as I was preparing, I asked my husband, he's by the way, I think he should have been the one taking this because he's a guru in the retail. And I said, what one word would you say to young people who are coming up in retail? And he said, well, retail is vast, but one thing they must know is that if you're going into retail, you lose your time. No time for socials, no time for most things, at least in a few years until you establish. So my husband manages Next Cash and Carry. Anyway, so going back to what I'm saying, it's important that when you're starting the business or you're thinking about starting, and even if you've started, if there are things you haven't done very well, you can still go back to amend what you've done. Am I alone? Is someone hearing me?
We can hear you.
Okay. I'm just not used to everywhere being so quiet, so pardon me. All right, so when you're trying to establish or you have established, just like Mr. Keswani said, you can't be thinking of what you want to do. You have to think of what the customer wants. So what's that product? What's that service you want to give? Is there a need that is going to solve? Is that a problem that is going to solve? Is it a solution to something? It's important because it's not just about your passion. It's about what the people who are your target clients need. You need to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally. So Reid Hoffman said, your success begins in your head. So you have to believe, first of all, that you can do it. And then you have to believe in whatever system that you find around you. So just like Mr. Keswani said, even with the difficulty in Nigeria, he's been there for over 30 years. It tells you that he's adopted, yes, difficult, but he's making it. And it's the same everywhere. There's no one place that is great. Mr. Sunday was talking about the UK. Yes, the supply chain here may be a lot better, but there are other hitches that you have as well. For instance, it's a giveaway that someone walks into your spa, Mr. Keswani, and you say to them, can I have your number? And they will easily give it to you. You can easily collect the data and make use of it. But here, to even ask someone for the number, it's like a taboo. You've got to be careful. And some will bluntly tell you, no, they don't want to share it. So when you've got all that database in Nigeria, it also helps. You can send brokers lists to your customers. You can do a lot with that. In the UK, that's the challenge. But then, yes, we have the supply chain more arranged. But I must say, it's not like it's not like it was totally on the government. So I would say that there's a lot of individual input to that. For instance, we've got a company, I'm sure Mr. Keswani would know one is, because I think it's owned by Indians as well. They've built a big supply chain for the African food produce. By the way, that's my specialty in the UK. So I sell gari, bomo, everything Nigerian, everything African. So it's not just the government. Yes, the government gives a leeway because in Nigeria, there's a lot of bribery and corruption. Not to say there's no corruption here. Yeah, but it's a lot less and things are encouraged. Entrepreneurship is encouraged here. So you must prepare yourself mentally for the journey to know that it's not easy, but it's doable. And there's money in it. I thought that's one of the things my husband said, oh, it's a good business, but it takes all your time. And then you need to do a physical and structural preparation. So even if you're going to be on the high streets or in the malls, what's your plan to be online as well? So like I am on the street of Hendon, I'm making every frank, I don't know how to explain it, sorry, English came. I'm working hard every day to see that my online store starts because I know I'm losing money every day by not having that online presence. And so if you want to be in retail, or if you are in retail and you're not online, then I don't know what you're doing, to be honest. Yes, the physical stores, I personally don't believe will ever go because For some people, the shopping is the experience. The shopping is their going out, sometimes. Some people don't have any other thing much to do apart from work and shop. So I believe the physical stores will always be there, but the online presence is just where the money is now. I'm talking about organizational structure. It's so keen. I attended a program run by Dr. Kenwoke in LBS, and where they dwell so much on organizational structure. And I'll share something quickly with you, why these are important. So even while I was building up the store, and because once you're up there, a lot of people come, I'm selling this, I'm a vendor for this, I do this and I do that. And I tell you what, when most of them come and I say to them, I can't take the decision alone, I have to speak to my board chairman. They're taken aback, that protects me a lot, and that gives me space to think around things and take the right decision. And actually, I do have a chairman, yes, not yet legally put down, which we're still working on. But, I always rub off the ideas and things I go through by him, and it makes the work a lot easier for me. So it's in your interest to actually form your board as you start. Yes, I've been in the retail for a long time. I used to send things to Nigeria, but Evo Supermart is quite young. But even though it was young, I felt I needed to do the right thing. I told people when I had business coach clients that you need to start as you wish to finish, and you need to start well. So corporate governance is very key. And also, it's important that as you're starting, succession plan is something you cannot do without. Succession plan is something you cannot succeed without. A succession plan starts from the everyday running of the business. And so you have to ask yourself, yes, I know most times when we start, we do everything where the buyer, where the merchandiser, where we sit at the till, we run it, but you must be able to have someone in your team whom you're grooming to say, God forbid I'm not well, who can hold forth this business? It's very important, and that's where it starts. For instance, if I'm not in the store today, my nephew will run the shop very conveniently. If my nephew is not there, my butcher, who is an Indian guy, will run the shop very conveniently. It's very important that you start from day one to, put a succession plan in place. And then apart from the leadership succession, even the succession of the organization itself. So I'll just run faster because I know time is not on our side. So, and then marketing. When I left Nigeria, I used to work with Fidelity Bank. And then when I left, I said, oh my goodness, I'm so happy. I'm done with marketing. Little did I know that in life, you can't do without marketing. It's not possible unless you don't want to make money. And so when I was doing my master's and I was doing a bit of cooking and catering, I still had to market. Even for my coaching business, I had to market. Even for these supermarts, I constantly am thinking every day, how do I reach the customers that need to come in? So marketing is something you have to do. And I'm happy, I agree with Mr. Keswani that said, you don't have to spend $1 billion to do good marketing. It just has to be well targeted. The social media, the digitalization, and I say a lot, if people like Coca-Cola still market, then why won't you? So it's very important. And then talking about finance, most people will say, I don't have money, that's why I can't do much. I don't ever want to hear that when I'm speaking to people. Not because I have all the money or I'm privileged, no, but because I know that when you mean what you're saying and you work at it, there must be a way to get the money. You have family and friends. If you don't have, you have the banks, the building societies. There are ways around it. It might not be easy, but if you keep searching, you will definitely, get it. But the behind establishing, aside these 5 things I've mentioned, one thing I want to say is that apprenticeship is very key. Mrs. Nkechobi, my EVC in Techno Oil, used to say, by the way, I'm not a director in Eternal Oil, sorry for that, it's Techno Oil. So Mrs. Nkechobi used to say, you must learn the trade. It's very important. Don't assume you know, you must learn. You must learn. 1 year before I started Evo Supermart, I had to go to Luton and I was privileged to have, I call her Auntie Funke. She was an angel. She is still an angel. She put me through the ropes. I worked in the butchery. I worked in her store for months. And I tell you, even though I've been in the retail, there were loads that I didn't know. And also, I know I picked a few things who haven't worked with my brother because he's also a retailer. He used to be in Balogun, and then he went into the car business. Also talking with my husband, I pick up things, but we must be able to have an open mind to learn and to share. And then mentorship. You must look for someone who can hold your hand. There are good people everywhere. And then you must also be ready to hold other people's hands. It's very important. When we all do that for one another, our world will be a better place. So please. And I forgot to say that when you in marketing, it's very key to have your USP, your unique selling point. So always remember that, because you can't be everything to everybody. There must be something you're known for. Evo Supermart, for instance, is known for bringing in very unique things to London. Last week, I sold corn with pear, Nigerian pear. I sold okpa. I sold Icheku, the African velvet. I sold abalumo. There are a lot of things like that I bring in because I want to tell people this is somewhere you can get everything African you want, and authentic as well. So getting to the final part of the building up. Sunday said to me, Sunday Nimabong said, I need to make it a big global. I think it's the same thing everywhere. However, just like Mr. Keswani was saying, to establish now is more difficult because you have to make sure you're COVID-19 compliant, especially in the UK. My store had to have the guards. So we have to shield the till areas to make sure that the people, are not in close contact to your tellers. We had to put markings on the floor for how people will move. You have to put sanitizers all over the place and encourage customers to use it. So it's a law. There's a lot of demand with the COVID and with what is going on. But it's just a bit of more hard work, but it's doable. That's what I want to say to people. We must never relent. It's always doable, And like he said, customers no more want to come shopping. They're used to staying at home. People want, personally, I do delivery jobs sometimes because my online presence hasn't gotten very smooth. So I do it because that's what some people want. And you have to give what the customers want. So there's great expectations from customers now in the sort of convenience they want and the sort of speedy delivery. And you can see Amazon is getting on with it, which is great. So we all have to follow suit to give the customers the speedy delivery they want and the authenticity as well. There's a problem of scarcity of supply products and resources. It's not just in Nigeria, even here in the UK, because of one, the Brexit, two, COVID. So sometimes because of a lot of the produce come from Europe, we also struggle. And then there's lower disposable income. There are a lot of uncertainties. So sometimes some customers are not even ready to spend, and I don't blame them. So you need to look for ways to gear them to spend. And then there's a lot to do with welfare because everyone is down. You have to look after yourself. You have to look after your team. One of my friends said to me, your staff is behaving like this because you're always looking at their faces. And I said to her, listen, I have to look at their faces because I can't do it alone. You must know that you can't do it alone, you know. So you need to look after your staff. You need to make sure they're working well, but also being well looked after. There's increasing crime, so we need to think of ways to mitigate or, you know, make sure that all we're making is not being stolen. There's also government policies to deal with. I'm sure that's not a big problem in Nigeria, but here in the UK, it's a big challenge. But I mean, it just making it, living with it. So before I go, on the slide, you see I spelled success. And I said, if you want to be successful, you need to have great success, you need great suppliers, you need great understanding of the business, you need great creativity, ingenuity, you need great courage, great endurance. Imabong, I'm on conclusion now, yeah. You need great succession plan as well. And it's good to keep your life and your business simple. So I would want to share more maybe during the question and answer, especially things I went through when we were starting. But because I'm just looking at the time, I want to round up. So my final words will be that I just want to repeat that for us all to remember that success begins in your head and you're as good as your suppliers. This quote was from my mentor, Auntie Funke, who said to me during an MBA they did somewhere, the prof asked them, do you know what is the most important thing? And they said customers. And he said, no, if you're in the retail, your customers are great, but your suppliers, because they make you. If you don't have suppliers who give you authentic products, then you don't have good products to sell and the customers will move away, you know. So you just have to keep moving, keep simple, keep prudent. When I was writing this, the music came to my head and I like to add fun to business. As I was singing, I just wrote it down. Keep on moving, don't stop. Keep on moving, don't stop now. So you just have to keep moving, don't stop. It's not easy, but it's doable. People do it and more will come up. And also remember that there are businesses today that the owners will go away. So you might be that new Michael Jackson, you might be that new Rihanna, you might be that new, there's always the need for new things to come up. Before I wish us the best of luck in all that we do, I just remember something I think I didn't mention, but it's on the slide. When we did that program in LBS, Dr. Obeche said something which stuck to me. He said, yes, during the pandemic, the hotels were closed. What are other opportunities do you just shut the doors of the hotel and move away? When you can cook in the kitchen of the hotel and sell as takeaway, when you can use the laundry of the hotel as a laundrette, as a standalone business, because it's an essential business. So there's a lot we can find around us, even amidst the troublesome times we are in. Some people who saw the persistence of this COVID, or who see into the future, as he started making gloves, masks, and stuff like that, while some people sat and were like, oh, the COVID will soon go away. I think it's about taking up the opportunities as we see it, and then looking for the opportunities, even amidst the puddles, there are always opportunities. So I want to wish us the best in our endeavors, in our businesses, and always feel free to look for a support network. We always need it. And I mean, if there are support coming from the government organizations, please pick them up and also be a support network to others. Thank you so much, everyone, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Madam. Thank you so very much, Mrs. Obi, for that very expansive, very educative session. We really appreciate the thoughts that you have shared, and we thank you for your time. Just to mention one or two things, in addition to the points that we discussed earlier, it is important for us to note that the issue of being IT-driven has nothing to do with boundaries. It doesn't, regardless of whichever clime you are, this is the reality of our times globally. So she made a point, said if you are in retail and you are not digital, that I don't know what you are doing. You see, that is the reality of the times in which we are. So when we talk about challenging times, this is one of the mitigants of that challenge, to be IT-driven, to digitalize our logistics, our consumer engagement, our mediums, and all that. Then she said there is need to be innovative. There is need to be creative, you know, as an entrepreneur, particularly in the retail space. That is very, very important. Then she made mention of people. People, you cannot do it all alone. Nobody can do it all alone. That brings to the fore the importance of human resources, as reinforced, you know, by Mr. Keswani earlier. And of course, if I forget anything, I will not forget this statement. Your success begins in your head. Your success begins in your head, and you're as good as your suppliers. But I am particularly interested in the first part of it, success beginning from the head. And she mentioned something about the issue of finance that is often, you know, hyped as the constraints for not moving forward, for not doing this and that. She said, well, that is probably the least of the challenge that we have as entrepreneurs. What we need is to see it that it is doable. And of course, opportunities and channels of doing it will open up. So thank you so very much, Madam. A lot of thoughts, mentorship, apprenticeship. I don't know how anybody can do well in that space without, you know, being an apprentice. You need to know the stuff that you are selling, and get your staff and your people to flow with you in the same spirit. So we don't want to give opportunity for question and answers. We can see some already posted. We're going to take it one after the other. Then of course, if you still have question and answer, put it in the Q&A box, and I can assure you it will be addressed. The area of risk mentioned also is very key. The growing insecurity across the world. It doesn't matter where in the world today, Europe, America, Africa, is widespread insecurity, crime. You know, somebody just waking up overnight, spraying people in the supermarket, in the open, you know, it's getting crazier. So these are areas that we need to begin to think about, even as we take the leap in businesses. Once again, thank you so very much, Mrs. Ebele Obi, for your time. We go straight to question and answer. And the first question I'd like to take here is from Isioma Utomi. Isioma Utomi. The question goes thus: how were staff members empowered to make decisions during uncertain circumstances? How may we empower our people to take decisions during uncertain circumstances? I like that question to go to Mr. Keswani. Sir, if you don't mind, can you unmute and take that question?
This is a very, very powerful question, and that how were the staffs empowered to make decisions during uncertain circumstances? So there are two important things which you need to understand when we are trying to manage human beings. One is anxiety, and second is what is their role in the organization. So the first thing we realized that during pandemic, there was a lot of anxiety, and this anxiety got worsened with social media, WhatsApp. Everybody was a doctor, everybody knew more than the scientist, and so these messages kept floating and put everybody into a confusion. Now, this confused state got everybody to become anxious. So as management, all we had to do was to first control the anxiety and to calm people down and make it very, very simple. Wash your hands, wear a mask, maintain social distance, follow the simple 3 steps, and then you remain safe. So that was one. Second, making sure that empowering them, like the marshals, to keep it very simple. And I hope you can hear me.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So keeping it very simple, our empowerment to the staff was just broken into small boxes. Everyone was clearly said, just handle this particular task because this is what we want to achieve. And importance of relating the task and the process and the result was a very important aspect. So you cannot empower your staff without enrolling them in understanding what, how, and why. So a simple technique like that should be able to get you to empower them. However, there's always this question of trust, whether they will be able to deliver or not. And that's where your control mechanisms play an important role. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for that answer. Well, the second question is from Mohammed Bello Aliyu. He wants to know that given the low level of literacy in Nigeria, how do we manage the digital divide between that exists between business owners and the customers, given the fact that there is largely low level of literacy in the country? And of course, even in times of COVID, where many people will not want to go out as it was before. Well, Madam, can you take a shot at that question?
Okay. It was Mr. Keswani, or who was it that said customers have something in their pockets, and that is the phone. No matter how illiterate most people are, they at least know how to use the phone. And so I think sometimes it will be about categorizing your customers and knowing what to apply where. You know, I don't have a presence in Nigeria. And like I said, it's an advantage for those of them in Nigeria because you can easily gather the data that you need Unlike here, with the GDPR and everything, you've got to be very careful. And so I think it's channeling what, like, for instance, there are some that you may need to just communicate via text messages. The same thing you communicate via text messages, you can communicate via WhatsApp, via emails. And then, like in the UK here, when you're a customer in an organization, they can ask you how you want marketing materials to get to you, by phone, by email, by text, and then whatever you think they can use. In Nigeria, I'm not sure you need to ask that question. You can just use all that you have, and then it will minister to whoever at whatever level they can. Because if my grandma was still alive, for instance, I'm sure she will be able to at least see her text message, but she will not be able to read her WhatsApp. You know, my mom of blessed memory at 70 something used to be able to read the WhatsApp. So I think a lot has changed, and we can also invest in educating our customers. That's part of customer appreciation and part of the things that will endear them to you. So once in a while, schools here do it. You send messages out to parents and you do an evening where you tell them stuff on how to handle their kids on the computers. And so you can once in a while send out an online thing to your customers and say, you can learn how to do this and that, how to shop online, how to do that. And I'm sure they will appreciate it. They will know that you care, that you think about them. So I don't know if I've been able to address the question as he wants.
Yes, I believe you have really dealt with it. You know, what is essential is already out there. Let's quickly go to the next question from Isa. It's a brilliant experience shared over how you have navigated the Nigerian terrain challenges. But just curious to know if you come across a more challenging business environment anywhere else in the world. Mr. Keswani, I believe that question is for you.
This is a very difficult question to answer, because do you are damned, if you don't do, you are damned. So the truth is, you know, what you don't know, you don't miss. I know Nigeria and I have learned to deal with it. But what keeps us going is hope, and in the belief that the next generation, the youth, would all step up and will embrace whatever wisdom we have and actually take the nation to the next level. And it's also very important, if you don't mind, I would like to just contribute a little bit on the digital space or the literacy space. I think Mohammed and Isa, all of you need to understand one important thing. In the retail space, we do not need to pursue to serve 200 million people. You cannot do it. I cannot do it. None of us can do it. Nigeria is very developed as a nation where our customer bases are concerned. Even if you take a very small percentage of 20% of Nigerians are literate, they are in the digital space, they live in big cities, they speak English, they understand, some of them, most of them would have traveled. We are still talking about 40 million people. Please work with the bird in the hand mentality. Even if we have 10 million people to serve in the space, in the retail space today, the existing modern retail have not even scratched the surface. In a place like South Africa, where 45 million consumers favor to shop in the modern retail, they have more than 4,000 grocery stores of different formats, from hypermarkets to supermarkets. 4,000 in Nigeria. Even if you take 45 million people, we do not have 400. So there is a lot of opportunities, and I don't think you should worry on the gap of individuals who may not have the literacy, but understanding that you have so many customers to serve, I think you should take an optimistic approach from that direction. I hope I was able to answer that.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. Well, we are coasting gradually. I'd like to just take this one that says, how can we encourage our youth venturing into retail business? I want to believe that many of the thoughts shared today spoke to this. But again, is there any particular way of encouraging them, including mentoring, that you would like to share, madam?
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry. I'd like to get it clearer. What
Okay.
exactly, yeah. What exactly is the question about? Is it about, are you saying I should address mentorship or answer him generally?
Yes, in addition to mentorship,
Mm-hmm.
in addition to mentorship, what else can we do for our upcoming youths with regards to encouraging them to go into the retailing space?
Okay, first and foremost, I think it's about the interest, because if you don't have the interest, it's going to be difficult it's going to be more hard work for you. If you've got the interest, then you're the one who will lead the way. You know, just like that adage in Nigeria, they say you can't drink Panadol for someone that has a headache. So you have to step up first as the young person, and then you will find people who will be able to hold your hands, not just as regards the mentorship, but in every aspect. The other thing I think the government can do is like what they do here, apprenticeship, where young people who do not want to go straight into the uni can go through apprenticeship. So if there are establishments like SPAR, you know, like the established retail companies, and it doesn't just have to be the grocery ones, even those who retail clothes, because retail is very vast. So depending on where the person wants to be, for them to be able to learn through the ropes, so they study as the time in the uni becomes the time they spend in the shops. So they learn, and maybe they will have 1 week contact in the schools. I find that very helpful in the UK, where people go through the apprenticeship route instead of the normal university, and then you come out, you're still looking for work. And then use that time to learn what to do and how it goes. And I mean, when you're also young and you start early, it makes you, it gives you the option of knowing whether, is this really where I want to be for a long time, or do I want to go somewhere else? So I think the government will need to encourage apprenticeship. And then those who are established, like Mr. Keswani and others, should be able to also run some mentorship programs. And then the banks need to help. with the loans. Thank God for the thumbprints and BVN and all the security things coming up with the bank in the banking system now. So they should be able to begin to give soft loans to beginners who they know they've done KYC on, to encourage them to come up, you know. So those are the things. And we all sort of support as individuals wherever and whenever we can. That's what I'll have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much, Ma. We'll just take 2 questions more, even though there are still more, but we want to plead with the participants that we'll address other questions that we're not able to take here because our time is running fast. The next question we'd like to take is from Farouk Borodo. Says that, he said, my question pertains to succession planning. I know much of, succession planning for yourself as the business owner, which I understand to some extent. But I don't fully understand succession planning for your business. What does it mean, succession planning for your business? Please, Mr. Keswani, with much experience in that area, please, can you share a little bit with us on what it means to have succession planning for the business?
I don't understand. Farouk has asked this question from what context? But however, what does succession planning from business actually means? If you look at life, our life is all about building, operating, and transferring. Anything we do, we build, we operate, and we transfer. We have a choice. Do we transfer upon death, or do we transfer while you are still living? This is the choice we all human beings have. Now, if you want your business to survive from several generations, you have to have a succession planning for your business. And that's where the leadership program, that's why all the training, that's where the corporate governance comes in, that's where data dashboards come in, that's why the reporting structures come in. And in making your company an institution is a very important in succession planning. For the only truth at the time of birth is death. Why are we in denial? Why can't during our lifetime have a vision which is clearly says, for all that I have built, how may I ensure that it survives beyond me? And move that me and that I to last and put your business ahead of you. So I think it is very philosophical approach, and that's why you need to actually build the succession planning. Now, how the succession planning is done is a huge course. I had to join Harvard to learn all about succession planning from their perspectives. I had to hire life coaches who were discussing with me all the pros and cons, several discussions over the years till we get something which I believe would work in this country with a single and only one focus. The businesses must outlive the founders, and they must grow, and they must thrive. We cannot afford a Muratla Mohammad Airport to collapse. Why are our airlines collapsed? Why is it? Because we as a nation know how to build, and we do a great job in building. We have a problem in managing, and we have a problem with just transfer it into the next generation. We do not let go to the next generation and youth. We do not encourage the youth. We do not trust in them. We have no trust in the youth. And this is where the problem begins. If the youth were involved in our building process and in the operating process, it's clearly we can hand over to them and say, you know what, run with it. We wish you well. Give them the freedom to play the game, set the rules of the game, set the boundaries, but give them the freedom to play the game, because the youth know how to play the game better than us. So, three things: protection, controls, and harmony. How do you manage all these three together in your succession planning? The harmony is with the next generation. Because we don't invest in harmony, we only invest in protection and control, and then you have conflicts. So this is a very important mindset of the problem with our generation and the previous generation. We need to bring that change. We have to let go. And pandemic has taught us all that so many friends of ours have passed away, and they were millionaires and billionaires with thousands of cars and private jets. They have passed away. What happened? So I think ego and succession planning do not go together. One has to be pragmatic, clear, and very spiritual to say, no, I am not going to be here forever. I need to let go in my lifetime. And I want to see the success in my lifetime to handhold if need be. Otherwise, in any case, the next generation is going to run it with or without me. So do it while you are alive. Do it while you are present. And I hope I'm getting this point very clearly across to the young man, Farooq. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very, very clear and understandable. Thank you so very much, sir. Distinguished participants, we may not be able to take more questions on this platform again today, but we encourage you to forward your questions to IOD Nigeria. The email is going to be drop in the box, in the chat box now. The email that you're going to forward your other questions to, and I can assure you that we're going to respond to them. Honestly, I've never had it so rich like this before. At the least, I can say that it has been an enriching moment today. When I look at the Heineken's of this world, Unilever of this world, the Cadbury of this world, these were businesses that started several hundred years ago, and they are still alive. We need to do such and to replicate such in Nigeria. And that's exactly what Mr. Keswani is talking to. So, distinguished participants, eminent panelists, ladies and gentlemen, we have really had a long day. And at this juncture, we invite the Director General and CEO of IOD Nigeria to make a special call for membership. If you are a young director, you are not yet a member of IOD, this is an opportunity for you to do that. Then, of course, I give him the opportunity to give the vote of thanks and to wrap up the day. Mr. Dele Alimi, the DG CEO, IOD Nigeria. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Adiripekum. And I think, just like you said, it's been a wonderful time. And I have thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I've gained. And I do hope the same goals for all the attendees, especially our very young entrepreneurs and directors. I think what I will do is, first, I would do the thanks, because that is very critical. And that's going to be very short. I want to thank our special guest of honor, Mr. Aresh Kaswani. I want to say a very big thank you on behalf of the President and the Governing Council of the Institute. I want to say a very, very big thank you that you spared your time. I know how busy you are. You say thank you. And we do hope that as we continue this journey of mentoring our young professionals and our young directors, you will be available for us to share from your depth of knowledge again. Thank you very much. And of course, to Mrs. Ebele Obi, I want to say a big thank you. I joined the committee and the Institute to thank you for the wonderful insight you've shared with us today. I always tell people it's always good to share insights with people who are involved. What you get is very practical because they talk from the day-to-day experience they have in their businesses. So I say a very big thank you to you for giving us this opportunity to learn from your well of knowledge. And I look forward to you answering our call again, if and when. I think I should say when, because definitely we'll still be calling on you. I want to plead with you to please heed our call. Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it. And I'm sure I'm doing this to the two of you, even on behalf of the attendees. From the comment I've been seeing in the chat box, they really enjoyed being with you today. I say thank you. I will move on to the committee headed by Dr. Adeyinka Azan, Fellow of the Institute, and the entire members of the Young Directors Forum Steering Committee. We cannot thank you enough for taking this enormous task and putting it on your shoulders. It's a tough one, and but we know with the kind of caliber of people that we have in that committee, this will just be the beginning of the wonderful things IOD is going to do for very young entrepreneurs and directors. I say very big thank you. And of course, to the President and Chairman of Governing Council, Chief Chris Okunowo, I thank you for the opportunity the Institute is giving the young people. Just like Mr. Keswani said in his last remarks, what the Institute has recognized is the fact that if you want sustainability, you must involve the young people. And that is what the Institute is doing. The plan is that we bring in these young people, getting them to learn the basics and the foundations of good governance, of good corporate governance in their businesses, giving them what I would say a mentoring program that helps them to deliver, especially in the area of leadership. This is unfortunately a very scarce commodity in our nation today. And we want them not to learn from the wrong people, but to learn from people who have been successful through dreams of hard work. That is the platform that the Institute is providing. And I want to thank the President and the Governing Council for making this happen. Thank you very much, our chief host, and we look forward to more of this. And I want to implore all our participants today, just like I said earlier, this forum, it's what I would call a giving back from the Institute of Directors Nigeria. We have created this new avenue, or what I would call a very short avenue for you young directors and young entrepreneurs to join the Institute of Directors through a channel that is not cumbersome, through a channel that is not too expensive for you to come in and to learn from people who have done it over the years and have done it successfully. And we hope that with that, we will have grown not just the private sector, but even the public sector, because the belief that some of you are going to grow up to go into even the public sector in Nigeria, and we believe by imbibing and inculcating the spirit and tenet of good governance in you, we will have helped this nation. So go to the IOD website and do everything you can to join the Young Directors Forum. Apart from sessions like these, there are going to be one-on-one mentoring opportunities with people who have been there, who are still there, and who are going through, or who have gone through what you are going through now, and who can mentor you and help you to develop your business. I have spoken with so many young people. I have seen so many young people start a business. And after a while, they come back to me and said, oh, I'm looking for work. And I said, what about what you are doing? And they said, oh, it's not bringing so much to the table. But like Mrs. Obi said, Yes, you can dream big, but you can start with any size. You can dream big, but you can start with any size. And it is important that you are committed to your cause. This is part of what YDF will do for you. So this is like a giveaway, ladies, distinguished attendees. Don't hesitate to go to the site, look at it. You can join. Somebody just asked, how do I join the forum? Just go to the IOD website. You will see the section on Young Directors Forum, and you can join from there. You can just fill a form online and send it back to us, and boom, you're a member. I think the Secretariat will still send the link to register for the YDF to all the participants who are here today. I think that will also make it very fast for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone who is there. I want to thank you all for making it a day. And I want to tell you, this is just the first of the many knowledge sharing sessions we're going to have, just like the chairman, Dr. Azan, said a few hours ago. And I want to implore you to please invite your colleagues, invite everybody that you think needs to know how to run their companies properly. And we can only be successful when we do it together. Just like my colleague mentioned, the big companies of the world started small, but today the company has not only outlived them, the company still remain a legacy. That is what IOD is trying to do, and with you, we know we can achieve this. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I wish us all a very nice evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Kaswani, Mr. Kaswani, Mr. Kaswani.
Yes.
Hello.
I think the president wants to say something.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaswani. It's very kind of you. I hope you're a member of IOD.
I will have to disappoint you with your hopes. I am not.
Well, I was just hoping that you would be. You are, or you will soon be.
Well, let me consider that.
That'd be nice. That really would be nice. I know you're doing very well. But thank you very much for your insight today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Okungbo. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms.
Thank you.
Njobi, very kind of you. We're grateful. I hope you obviously you know about IOD in UK, and it will be really nice to keep in touch with you. Okay? Because whatever registration you have in Nigeria you can also use the facilities in IOD UK as a member of Nigerian IOD. Right? Thank you very much. God bless.
Okay, thank you very much, and you all take care, and I hope whatever Ebele and I have spoken would help the young youth, and I think we did it with a good intention. Now the interpretation and reality they're going to create is going to make their behavior accordingly. So hopefully, let's hope that the interpretation is going to be positive. And God bless everyone.
Thank you so very much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you, Ms. Nebele.
We should take the national anthem, ladies and gentlemen.
We will certainly come again.
The national anthem, please, before we go. The national anthem. Thank you.
On the land with love and strength and faith, the labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain.
thank you very much, everybody. I wish you a very wonderful evening. Thank you. And please continue to keep safe.
Thank you, DG.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mr. Adenipekun, for
Thank you,
anchoring the
sir.
program. Thank you, Mrs. Obi, for honoring our invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.